Hi, I'm Old Norse Specialist Dr. Jackson Crawford, and today I'm going to discuss the goddess, formerly giant or Jotun, named Skadi. This setting is appropriate for discussing Skadi since she is said by Snorri in his prose Edda to be the Ondrdís, the snowshoe goddess, and outside of the particular Garðr in which I am dwelling at the moment, the snow is up to a knee high, so luckily I drive a ram. Now, Skathi is originally not counted among the gods and goddesses. She is in fact the daughter of Thjatsi, who is a giant or Jotun. Remember that the giants are not a separate species from the gods. It's really unfortunate that we translate Jotun as giant in English. They are a rival family to them. And Thjatsi is killed by the gods, so Skathi seeks some kind of reparations from them. She arrives in Ósgarður, the enclosure of the gods. By the way, if you live out in the country, you can appreciate why the realm that the gods live in is the Ósgarður, the god enclosure, just like humans live in the Miðgarður, middle enclosure, because, of course, the enclosure in question, the garður, is the one that's around your inhabited area, right? Your house, maybe your barn, your other outbuildings, maybe a corral, that sort of thing. So she comes to Ósgarður, inside of which the gods will not draw blood. And so even though she is armored and ready to fight them, she says that she will accept compensation in a different way. If she agrees, the gods will allow her to marry one of them, and if they will make her laugh, she will consider her father's death repaid. And so she is to choose a husband from among the gods, but the gods stipulate that she must choose him by his feet. And so all of the gods stand behind a curtain, and she is to choose the one that she wants merely from his bare feet. This is the dream of some people on the dark web. And she picks the one with the cleanest feet. And she believes that this must be Baldur, who apparently has not been killed yet, Baldur being the most perfect and beautiful of the gods. But instead it is Njord, the Vanir god, who is very clean-footed because he spends an exceptional amount of time at the seashore. And the gods do fulfill their promise to make her laugh. It is Loki who is charged with this duty, naturally enough. And Loki discharges it by tying the end of a rope, one end of a rope, to a goat's beard, and the other end of that rope around his own testicles, and then playing tug of war with said goat. The goat wins, and Loki falls squawking onto Skadi's lap, and this makes her laugh. A little bit of schadenfreude, and it's worth noting that Skadi's name is actually cognate with the German word that makes up the first half of the compound, Schadenfreude. Her name means injury, so this is also cognate with English scathe. This seems like a fairly natural name for a Jotun, given that the name is sort of threatening. The Jotnar often have names that imply some kind of threat or perhaps some kind of unpleasant weather event, so this is definitely in the tradition of their names. But once she is married to Njordr, she is no longer considered one of the Jotnar. She is now one of the Vanir. And in fact, she treats Freyr and Froya, her children, what would that be, her stepchildren, by Njordr, her husband, as her children. She addresses Freyr as our son in Forskirnes, one of the poems in the Poetic Edda. So she is fully integrated into that family. However, her marriage to Njordr is not a happy one. We have in the prose Edda again, Snorri records two stanzas from an otherwise forgotten poem in which Njordr complains that he doesn't want to live where Skathi is from in the mountains because the wolves keep him from sleeping at night. And then she in turn complains that she does not want to live where Njordr does by the seashore because the gulls wake her up in the morning and she doesn't like their sound. So the two are fairly incompatible and live separately. Skathi in the snowy mountains, where she is comfortable as one of the Jotnar, and then Njord by the seashore, giving rise to the notion that he is a quote-unquote god of the sea, although I've discussed many times why I think those labels are pretty useless in Norse mythology. One of Skadi's most active roles in a myth after the death of her father and her recompense for that is actually in the story of Lokasenna, a poem in the Poetic Edda, where Loki insults all the different gods and goddesses, and lastly, or almost lastly, Skadi. Now Skadi threatens him and says that if he keeps this up, she is going to have him bound to the rocks with the cold guts of his own son. Loki laughs off the insult. He calls Skadi a whore. He says he slept with her, just like he says about all the goddesses. But in fact, this is what the gods and goddesses do to him in punishment at the end of Lokasenna. And it is Skadi who ties up a serpent in Loki's underground prison above his face to drip its venom upon his face, and in this way gets back at him. Now, she may have this special connection to animals that are regarded as being sort of on the evil half of the animal kingdom, serpents in particular, because she is a Jotun in origin. The Jotun are also often connected to animals that are regarded with sort of an ill eye, like snakes and wolves especially. That may be why she's the one who takes command of this, but it's interesting that she is the one, the goddess, who is originally a Jotun. Gerður would be too, Freyr's wife. Notice the Vanir take Jotnar wives. But Gerður is not there in Lokasenna, or she never has a speaking role. Maybe because she is a Jotun, she has this special courage or ire in dealing with Loki. But regardless, it is Skadi who punishes him, who delivers that Skadi, that pain or injury. Well, as the ravens caw in their home behind me, I will wish you all the best from beautiful Colorado. And if you have an interest in other subjects of Norse mythology, I hope you'll check out the more than 270 other videos on this channel about it, as well as my published translations of the Poetic Edda and the Saga of the Volsungs, also available as audiobooks narrated by me. My videos are supported by my Patreon supporters. I hope you'll consider joining me there, as they assist me greatly in the project of making this information available for free and not have it just locked up in an ivory tower. All right. For now, from beautiful Colorado, I'm wishing you all the best.